Okay.
Are we there?
Mm-hmm.
Are we there? Are we there? I don't know. Cameron, what time is it?
Take Home Tuesday.
It is Take Home Tuesday time, and if you're joining us today, we ask that question every week, and I like to ask different people, Cameron, this isn't your first time on
Yes.
Take Home Tuesday, but it's your first time helping make some goodies, right?
Oh yeah, yes.
Yes, and Goldie and Virginia will be happy to know that we're making food today.
Yes.
So we are in the kitchen of The Nest, which is at our retreat center upstairs from Hen and Chick Studio. It is a little bit darker in here, so if it seems shadowy, it's just because the lighting in the back is not as bright as having the window natural light by us. But today we're making something very, very yummy. Well, most things we make
Yes.
end up being very yummy, and they probably won't last long. We were looking at our friend Pat Sloan's page, and she has a couple, talk about all things creative. You know, we keep saying around here, we're about all things creative, not necessarily for sewing or quilting, but our Take Home Tuesday times,
Yes.
like last time, I think when you did it with me,
What did we make?
we did
Oh, it was bird feeders.
Yeah, so it's not just about sewing and crafting here, but Pat Sloan is creative in all things, and she has a sewing, a quilt along, some cooking and stuff. And so we were spending some time yesterday looking at her cooking, and we found this on her I think it was her Facebook page, community page. And it wasn't something that she had made, but somebody on there had asked if anybody had ever made it. So we decided to try to make it and give some feedback on it, just as in some of our creative communities. And when people come, we get lots of different ideas. So what we're making today is actually a recipe from Taste of Home. We'll try to get a link to it in here earlier. You can jot notes and take it down. But it actually is called Cranberry Shortbread Stars. So we're going to get started right away, and we're going to try to keep it so you can kind of see what we're going to do. So what you're going to need to make these, well, you know, everybody likes cookies, but shortbread cookies, any thumbs up from any of our fans out there, because they can be good, and you can put so many different things in them. So what you're going to need today is a cup of butter. We are using real butter on this, and I'm going to put that cup of butter in, and we want it softened. Personal preference for me, we're going to pop it in the microwave for just a little bit and kind of get it almost melted. So we're going to stick it there for a little bit, and we'll come back. Whoop. Oh, well, I'm not even sure whether it's on, so we'll find out. Okay, you're also going to need flour, powdered sugar, vanilla, maybe a sprinkle of salt if you like to add that to it. And then, of course, whatever you're going to put in your shortbread, which we are going to use the dried cranberries. You could also add some pecans in it if you would like. So on these, when we're making it, so that's the ingredients that you're going to need. But when we're using the cranberries, we're going to want to get them chopped up pretty good. And so we're going to, it's a half a cup of finely chopped cranberries. So Cameron, you're going to get the little machine.
Perfect.
We're going to use our chopper. Now, I will give a little forewarning on this because they are kind of sticky. You might have to and then go out. So we start chopping away. Chop, 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 chop.
Oh.
We might have to move over to the table or something because we don't have.
Well,
you go and you keep chopping on the table, and I'll keep going here. Okay. So I've got my butter softened just a little bit. In fact, when I made another recipe of it or a batch of it earlier this morning, I had it where it's almost pretty much melted. I liked that because then it made it easier for me to mix all the ingredients together. Personal preference there. In my, getting it here, butter, I'm going to put a 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar, and of course get that all mixed together. So, and Allison, you know, maybe everybody kind of has a favorite cookie they like this time of year. There's certain cookies that I only make, or recipes I only make this time of year around the holiday season, which is kind of weird because they're good and I love them. But maybe somebody out there has a recipe that they want to share. Do you guys, does your family have something that you like just this time of year?
Oh, we love the classic, just sugar cookies. Make the cutouts and the frosting.
And in my family, my grandma always made it, but Coogan, which is kind of a yeasty bread, and of course the kringla, but I don't know why I never make it except for that time of year. So now I have this all kind of creamed together in here. Okay, I'm going to come back in, and anybody else do this? I'm just going to put a little vanilla, a tinge of vanilla in. How my grandmother always cooked. She never used anything to measure. A tinge of vanilla, and then I'm going to gradually stir in 2 cups of flour. How's the chopping coming?
Pretty good.
Are you getting finely
Yes.
chopped? Okay, let's take some more. Move those to the side.
Perfect.
We need about a half a cup of them, so you're gonna
Keep
chop
on
away.
chopping.
And maybe this one will put nuts. I gotta ask the girls if they like nuts. So we're gonna gradually mix in 2 cups of flour. I like to do it a half a cup at a time. I am by no means a professional baker at all. So certainly if somebody has better ideas or tips, go ahead and share them there. But, I'm gonna add in 2 cups of flour. And remember, it's shortbread, so it's a pretty thick base dough, which is kind of why I like to have it, the margarine melted or the butter melted just a little bit, because it just helps it, because it's so thick to mix together. We're almost there. And then Cameron's going to be done pretty quickly with hers, too. Anybody make a big mess? Do you see my flour getting all over the place? You know, I like baking. I don't like cleaning up. Right? Anybody else agree to that? If I could have somebody come and clean my kitchen afterwards. But if you're going to make a mess, you might as well make a big mess and just make all the cookies at one time. Okay, so now we have our 2 cups. Again, it was just 2 sticks of butter or a cup of butter, 3/4 a cup of powdered sugar, a tinge of vanilla, which actually I think it's like a half a teaspoon of vanilla, and a half a cup of finely chopped, and we're using cranberries. Although I was thinking today for some different ideas, I wondered about using apricots or some other different fried fruits. The ones that are in the oven, we actually used mixed berries, dried berries. So we'll see how those turn out. So we're gonna put our chopped cranberries in, mix those in. And what do you think, girls? Do you vote pecans or no pecans?
I'm a no pecan
You're a no
girl.
pecan.
I say pecans.
Oh dear. Well, you know what? We have some that already have no pecans, so we're going to put pecans in.
yeah.
Sorry, Allie. You get the ones coming out of the oven, and Cameron can have these ones. Let's put, well, see if there's some scissors over there and put that in there. So after you get that all mixed up, you do want to, let's move some of our mess out of the way. And we are working in a little bit of a small space here, but we'll kind of get some stuff slid over. After you get that all put, you do want to turn it out and put it in a saran wrap and kind of make your disc. So you can kind of see here. Let's finish doing that.
Yeah. Should we add more?
Nah,
A little bit left.
it's okay.
Yeah. They look good.
It looks good. Cameron, are you a precise baker if you bake, or do you just kind of go with it?
I think if you eyeball,
Eyeball.
it always seems to turn out, especially with toppings.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so then, of course, we would take this, put a piece of saran wrap out, and I've already have one here where I've made it into the disc. If it's a little, like this is pretty soft still, and this one's a little bit harder, because I've refrigerated this one. If you want to put it in the refrigerator and come back later to do it, just make sure when you're ready to roll it out, it's at room temperature. With that butter, it's going to get hard. So you want to make sure if you're going to come back and roll this out later, that you give yourself that chance to get time. Well, maybe you could be making other cookies or dipped pretzels or something. Okay, so then with this, we're going to turn it out and onto our surface. And now it becomes like the rollout cookie, okay? And so again, I'm gonna kind of start over here just so you, in case you didn't want to have it. We're gonna make it into a disc, and then it's just your rollout. And we're just gonna start rolling it. And you know how this works. You start rolling and you roll and you roll. You might have to have a little flour. Sorry, Allison, I'm gonna reach by you. A little flour here.
Someone said you need one of the aprons that we had
Oh, yeah.
on last night.
I should have. I actually thought of it earlier. So we're going to roll it out until it gets to about a 1/4 inch. Okay, and I know we're kind of rushing this just a little bit. Of course, it would take longer. Now, I was wondering before, though, if you've ever made the, they're called snowdrops or whatever, you know, they're like the little pecan bites that rolled in.
Yeah.
You could do the same thing with this. Make little balls, roll them in, and cook them that way. But since we're doing them as stars, Allie, just so you know, this was Grandma Engel's cookie cutter.
Oh
So
my
this would be
gosh.
Allie's great grandma's cookie cutter.
Yes.
And now we are using it today for these stars. So then we would just come back in and cut our stars out. Okay? And of course, you continue that process. Since there is no eggs in this, would you like a little taste
Oh yeah.
of the dough? Because everybody has to eat. Here's a question. Are you
Oh,
a
yeah.
beater licker or no licking of the beaters? What do you do?
I definitely am.
I am. Allie?
I look it too.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yep.
matter if they're eggs or not, I still do.
Gotta test it out.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely. So we have some. Let's see if we can see in the oven how we're coming along here. I can smell them. We actually have some cooking in the oven. So let's see how they're looking. We'll come back and finish those. Well, they're starting to look pretty good in there. Not sure. I forgot to time how long has it been. Can you tell how long we've been on? Does it have anything on there, Allison?
No, I
No.
can't see.
Well, let's see. We're gonna take these out anyway. We don't. The biggest thing is you don't want them to get too brown. That's the problem. So of course we're gonna take them out of the oven, pop them on the cooling rack, and then enjoy eating them later. So, what do you think? Good idea. It's fun to have some inspiration from other people. And like I said, we were visiting our friend Pat Sloan, somebody Heidi's known for several years, and getting inspired by her. Cameron, what do you think?
I love them. I think they'll turn out awesome.
Yeah,
The
and
cookie dough is good.
well, the cookie dough is
Yeah.
good. I already tasted.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure they'll be really good now. And what is it? Let's see. It's about 1:30. It isn't. Don't we have something that says in our work bylaws that we get a break at 1:30?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's there.
Heidi, do you allow it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it says something about cookies and tea
Cookie
at
break.
1:30, right?
Something like
Something
that.
like that.
At least for today.
Anyway, we'll try to get you a link to this recipe. Please feel free to share maybe one of your favorite recipes or something quick and simple to do. We know this was not a quilting thing, but it's certainly a fun thing to help
yeah.
each other out with doing. So we're going to get busy finishing our cookies and having a little taste test. So until next Tuesday, have fun and be creative.